want to talk about a small-in-one that Epson was making. It's the NX 430, but they still have several small-in-ones that are direct pass-through printers. This printer, as you're looking at it, you can see it's small. It's only going to print 8.5 by 11. It's not going to give you any print profiles more than just asking you if it's photo paper. It isn't something that I really recommend for art printing, but it is in my book because I have, used it in workshops so I can show people how they can do different things with this printer. And it's very, very not state of the art, but it will work. And let me show you some of the things that I'm talking about. Okay, and when you're printing alternative surfaces, you are going to usually want something that's going to have some kind of a clearance. There is no clearance on this printer. There is just a regular print path, and it has no platen gap. It has no way to make the print head come a little bit away from the paper, nothing. So you really are kind of at a disadvantage. But let me show you some of the things that I have done on that printer. And so if you are desperate and want to get to an real entry-level printer, I know Epson makes an artisan printer, but it is dye sublimation ink, and I don't recommend that. I always like to have the pigment ink, and these are Durabrite inks in this printer, and they are pigment inks. Okay, I'll show you here as I'm going to tear this off, which I probably should have done before the video so we could do this quickly. This is a small piece of 36 gauge aluminum. Now I put this with masking tape onto, if you can see, a regular inkjet piece of paper, because you can see how fast it's coming apart, okay? So the purpose in showing you this is you can see how thin this is by how much it will bend. But I did get it to go through the printer, and I did two things. I crinkled it up a bit, as you might be able to see here, and then I kept it flat. I took a brayer, and I flattened it. I put a pre-coat on the metal and treated it like I do. I have a book that has all the information about this stuff and different videos and stuff. And then I brought it down just a teeny bit from the edge of the carrier sheet to tape it after I destroyed the carrier sheet. But anyway, this went through the printer. This is a very thin cheesecloth skin. This is also on a carrier sheet and went through that printer. I taped the edges securely with regular masking tape. You can see right here, this tells me that the print head did actually hit part of the surface where it was too thick. But it did not stop it from printing, and I got a decent print. This is a little bit of a yellow cheesecloth that I dyed. Then this right here is a piece of Pimatex cotton, which is a very fine woven cotton. And I did the same thing again. I taped it front and back so it was securely on the sheet. I used a little bit of spray glue on the back of it so it was securely on the sheet. And it stuck flush to the sheet. So there are ways that you can use this printer or these types of printers that are direct pass-through for doing this type of work. But now there are other things that happen to this that you may not know, but the thing is that, we use print profiles when you want to get a good print. Okay, this is a cheesecloth. Sorry. This is a tissue paper mix that I do, where I use layers of tissue paper to make this surface. Okay, this, without tape over the edges, because I wanted to print over the edges, was still printed on the NX 430. You can see it came a little bit too close over here, so it lost, a little bit of the print, but because it doesn't print to the edge. But this was really taped securely, and again, it went through the printer. But now let me show you the difference when I sent a sheet of the same type of a surface, and this has been on here for a really long time, so I hope it doesn't really get messed up bad. You want to, when you're using this double-faced tape, and it's like the permanent, because I don't suggest you use the non-permanent, because the non-permanent, and I'm just going to kind of tear this maybe, the non-permanent may allow your surface to actually let go during the printing, because it's non-permanent and it's very soft. So, I just sometimes get a little careless. But anyway, this was done with the NX 430. This was done with the R3000, which is still probably not my recommended printer. If you're going to go up to get an art printer, my very favorite one for entry level is the RX3000 Epson. The 2000 is a little cheaper, but there are things about it that you can read in my book that are not as good as the 3000. And maybe I'll do another video on that. But anyway, this is what you're going to see in color, because these are the proper colors for the print and these are not. But I have no print profiles to choose on the NX 430. So those are probably some of the problems. And if it doesn't matter to you, or you can figure out in your color box how to make this look like it should with some test prints, then you could use this printer. You won't be able to print thick. You won't be able to print any more than 8.5 by 11. But if you're desperate and you want to do alternative surfaces, then you could check out the small-in ones because they're direct pass-through printers. And I haven't tested any of the other ones. I had an NX 230 and then this NX 430, and they both worked. So that's my little conversation on trying to get started at a very entry-level position, but with some problems. Okay, enjoy.